Hello, my name is Elijah Ramos, and today I will be going over math for 5th and 6th grades, ages 10 through 12. For 5th grade, I will be going over adding fractions, and for 6th grade, I will be going over factoring. Alright, today I will be going over adding fractions with like denominators for 5th graders. Alright, the first rule when you add fractions with like denominators is you only add the numerator. The denominator will never change. So for example, in the first one, we have 3 over 4 plus 3 over 4. So since the denominators are both the same, we keep the denominator as 4, and we only add the numerator. So 3 plus 3 will give you 6. And since the 6 and 4 are both have a common factor of 2, you divide them both by 2 to reduce them, the 6 becoming a 3, and the 4 becoming a 2. For the next one, we have 5 over 7 plus 6 over 7. So we keep the denominator the same, and we add the numerator, 5 plus 6, which will give us 11 over 7. And since it cannot be reduced anymore, we will just leave it like this. For the next one, we have 16 over 25 plus 12 over 25. So first, we move the denominator, 25, over 16 plus 12, which would give us 28. For the next one, we have 23 over 100 plus 54 over 100. So we keep the denominator the same and bring it over, 100 over 54 plus 23, which will give us 77. So our final answer would be 77 over 100. The next one, we have 6 over 9 plus 1 over 9. So we bring the 9 over, and we add 6 plus 1, which gives us 7. And that would be our final answer, 7 over 9. For the next one, we have 8 over 10 plus 4 over 10. So first, we bring the 10 over, and we add 8 plus 4, which would give us 12. And this one we can actually reduce. So we find a common factor of 12 and 10. The easiest common factor for these two numbers would be 2, and we divide by them. So 2 divided by 12 gives us 6, and 2 divided by 5 will give us, or 2 divided by 10, will give us 5. And that would be our final answer, 6 over 5. For the next one, we have 4 over 6 plus 4 over 6. So we bring the denominator over, 6, and 4 plus 4 will give us 8. And since these can also be reduced, since they're both even numbers, they can be reduced. So let's go with a simple one, 2. 2 divided by 8 will give us 4. And 2 divided by 6 will give us 3. And that will be our final answer, 4 over 3. For number 8, we have 18 over 50 plus 42 over 50. So first, we bring the denominator over, 50 over 42 plus 18, which will give us 60. And since these are both numbers that can be factored, again, we can find a number to factor them by, This time, instead of using 2, we can use 10 since they're both multiples of 10. So if we divide it by 10, 10 goes into 60 6 times, and 10 goes into 50 5 times. Since we can't factor it anymore, this will be our final answer, 6/5. For the next one, we have 13/20 plus 11/20. So we bring 20 over and we add the numerators, 13 plus 11. (13 plus 11 will give us 24. And since both of these are factorable, since they're even numbers, we can divide them by one common factor that both of these numbers share would be 4. So 4 goes into 24 how many times? 6. And 4 goes into 20 5 times. So our final answer would be 6/5. For the next one, we have 7/11 plus 7/11. So we keep the denominators the same, 11 over, and then we have 7 plus 7, 14. So our final answer will be 14/11. For the next one, we have 15/25 plus 7/25. So first, we bring over the 25, and then we add 15 plus 7, which gives us 22. And since it can't be reduced anymore, that's our final answer, 22/25. For the next one, we have 4/7 plus 3/7. So we bring over the 7s, and then we add 4 plus 3, which will give us 7. And since both the numerators and the denominator are the same, they just equal 1. So our final answer would be 1. For the next one, we have 1/3 plus 1/3. So first, we bring over the denominator, and second, we add the numerators. 1 plus 1 will give us 2. So our final answer will be 2/3. For the next one, we have 4/8 plus 3/8. So first, we bring over our denominator, 8, and then we add the numerators, 4 plus 3, which gives us 7. And since it can't be reduced anymore, that's our final answer, 7/8. And for the last one we will be going over, we have 2/5 plus 2/5. So first we add we move the denominator, 5. Then we add both the numerators, 2 plus 2, and gives us 4. And since they can't be reduced anymore, that will be our final answer, 4/5. Okay, now for the last 6, I encourage you to try and do these by yourself. There will be an answer key provided after the video, so you can check your answers and make sure you did your work right. Thank you for watching. All right. For those of you in 6th grade, we will be going over prime factoring numbers and figuring out whether they're prime or not. So first of all, to figure out if a number is prime, it cannot be divided by any number other than itself or 1. So a number like 1 would be prime, but a number like 4 would not be prime because it can be divided by 2 and itself. So it has more than one factor. So for example, the first one, we have 98. So what can we divide into 98 to make it smaller? Since it's already an even number, we can divide it by 2. So 98 divided by 2, so 2 would be one factor. And when we divide 98 by 2, we get 49. Alright. And 49 can also be broken down into two smaller numbers, 7 and 7. So 49, we can put 7 times 7, which will give us 49. So the final answer for this one will be 7 times 7 times 2. Because 7 times 7 times 2 will give us 98. So 98 is not a prime factor, so we write no. For number 2, we have 40. Okay, so let's start simple. 40 can be, since it's an even number, we can take out a 2. And 40 divided by 2 will give us 20. So we have 20. And 20, if we take out another 2, will give us 10. And 10 can be divided, if we give it a number, if we take out another 2 from 10, we get 5. So this would be the factoring of 40. And since it does have factors, it is not prime, so we write no. For number 3, we have 83. And since it's not an even number, it cannot be divided by 2. We can try other numbers like 3, 4, 5, and 6. But they will also not be able to be divided by 83. So since there are no factors that can be divided by 83, this number will be prime. So we write yes. And this is prime because the only number that can be divided into it is itself, 83. For the next one, for number 4, we have the number 2. And since the number 2 can only be divided by itself, 2, it is another prime number. So yes, 2 is prime. For number 5, we have 87. 87 is not an even number, so we cannot divide it by 2. So we can try 3. So 87 divided by 3. And let's see what that gives us. When we divide 87 by 3, we get 29. And since 29 cannot be factored down any farther, this will be our final answer, 3 times 29. And since there is more than one factor, it is not prime. For number 6, we have the number 46. And since it's an even number, we can take out a 2. So we write a 2 here, and a 46 divided by 2 gives us 23. Now 23 cannot be broken down any lower, so that will be our final answer, 2 times 23. And since it has more than one factor, it is not considered prime. So we write no. For number 7, we have the number 80. And looking at it, there's at least one factor we have, which is 2, since it's an even number. And 80 divided by 2 gives us 40. And if we divide 40 by 2, we get 20. So we can put a 2 here. And now we have 20. And if we divided 20 by 2, we get 10. And if we divided 10 by 2, we would get 5. So this would be our final answer. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5, which will give us 80. And since it has more than one factor, we can write no, since 80 is not prime. For the next one, 89, it's not even, so we cannot factor it by 2, but we can try 3. So 89 divided by 3 will not give us a whole number. And since it can't be divided by 2, it cannot be divided by 4 either. So 89 is a prime number since it can only be divided by itself. 89. So yes, 89 is a prime number. For the next one, number 9, we have 53. And at first glance, since it's not an even number, we cannot divide it by 2. But we can try 3. So 59 divided by 3 gives us not a whole number. So since we cannot factor it any lower, 53 can only be divided by itself, which makes it a prime number. So we can write yes, comma, prime. And for our last one today, we have 50. Just looking at it, we can tell since it's an even number, it can be divided by 2. So 50 divided by 2 gives us 25. So we can write a 2 here. And we know that 25 can be broken down into 2 smaller numbers, 5 and 5. So we can write those right here, 5 times 5. And since 50 has more than one factor, it is not considered prime, so we would write no. All right, now I encourage you to finish the rest of the problems. An answer key will be provided with the answers for the rest of the equations and the ones I just did. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video once again, and don't forget to like and share this video with your family and friends, and to comment down below on what you'd like me to cover in future videos. And remember to wash your hands, stay inside, and if at all possible, if you have to go out, keep a distance of 6 feet away from others. Thank you guys. See you later.